Good morning, everyone. I don't know who is here in the room as of yet. It looks like I have something. Um, well, thank you, Black Tornado. Thank you. I wish you guys would show more of your faces. This is the social media age, so it's okay to get rid of the alphabet and just put your face up there. Um, this is just the age that we're living in. And after these issues we've had with the avatar over there on All About the Tea, as you well know, always having an alphabet is not that good. And also having a photo that is not your own is not good as well. So or it's looked upon differently. So I want to just wait for some more people to get in the room here. I want you guys to chat about these topics today. I'm blog media Breeze, and a lot of people say blog, and they don't know what blog is with the V as in Victor. So as you can see in the lower left-hand corner, that's blog media Breeze. A blog is nothing more than um, a video about blogging. Blogging is generally the content that is written. So this is the content that is visual. So that's why I call it Blog Media Breeze. And I put the breeze on the end of it because I kept seeing so many breezies out here on the internet. And I just wanted to, change it and just put my name with an S on it. And also Blog Media was taken. I may try to get that at some point in the near future. So I hope you guys are having a good morning, having some great coffee. I love what I have here, my Starbucks caramel macchiato, just a little extra drizzle, and not a whole lot of that foamy stuff that they like to put on it. I usually get the venti. I used to be real nice and get the tall. Then I graduated to the grande, and now I just get the venti. um, and we're going to be talking about some things on Saturday morning. I like to talk about, some of the news that have happened in the week. And I also like to talk about some entertainment things, but we'll see how this goes. I don't plan to take up a whole lot of time this morning with you, but I did want to have, some coffee with you this morning. I know that you saw the title where I mentioned KandiOnline and her interview with Nivea. I do not know Nivea. I do not know a lot of entertainers in this day and age. As you know, whenever I was growing up, it was easy to know all of the entertainers. It was easy to uh, know them because the advertising was different, and I believe that the advertising back then really caused the entertainers to work for whatever it is that they got. And nowadays it just comes through Instagram and it doesn't appear to have a whole lot of quality, quite frankly. It really does not. And it doesn't have a lot of character to it. A lot of the entertainers today are very shallow in terms of their way of thinking, whereas back then people thought differently because of the age that they were coming out of. They were coming out of the civil rights movement. They were coming out of a battle, and they were moving into a different world, kind of like what we are now, except it kind of seems like it's going downhill to some degree. But I digress on that. So Nivea is not someone that I know. However, I do go over to KandiOnline because, as many of you know, I am a huge Real Housewives franchise fan, and I love KandiOnline that she does to interview the other housewives and other entertainers and other people in the industry. And she has the connections to do that, and she certainly has the notoriety to do that. And I really like Kandi as a person. I like her heart, and I like her as a person. On the other hand, whenever I saw what she did this year on Real Housewives of Atlanta, the only one that needs to see all of that is Todd. And the only one that I would like to see all of that is Todd. Okay. But I like her. I go over to KandiOnline often. And this time I saw Nivea. And I played it through. I wasn't going to watch it all the way through. However, it came to a point that really grasped my interest. And it's when she began to talk about her relationship with her manager. And I still didn't hear it all the way through because I had so much to do. At the same time, I wanted to talk to you about some of the things that were going on in that interview because it was a lot. And I believe that this is a prime example about why people need to really change the way they raise their children. They need to change the types of parents that they are. When I became a parent, my whole life changed. Almost all of my dreams changed as well because your children should be your number one. And I'm not saying you cannot do it all at the same time. I am just saying if your child is going through something, you need to stop and pay attention and give that some direction and some value so that they don't end up in a very hurtful and painful situation and regretful, because we don't want our children to grow up regretting things. We want to give them all the things we didn't have. So Nivea just reminded me of to say that when I was watching the interview. Um, Nivea and Kandi are talking about her life in the entertainment industry. And because I do not watch Encore, I know a lot of people watch Encore. I was looking at Kempire Daily, he watches it. Um, I believe Miss Misha watches it. And other people, Tabitha Speaks. I believe I think I may have seen Tabitha. No, have not seen her do anything with Encore yet. Actually, no. Um, at the same time, I don't watch it. Okay, so and I'm having to say that to you to preface and say that so that you understand uh, the information that I have here in case you have information that I don't have. But the part of the interview that I want to bring out to you is the part where she admits to Kandi that she was a 14 or 15-year-old young girl. You're still a young girl at that age. You haven't even really began to approach womanhood. And her and her sisters were on their way to Atlanta or to Savannah, one of those places. And her oldest sister asked her if they wanted to go, try out and sing, or do something, if they would be interested in doing that. And she said that, she wasn't shy. Of course, she wanted to do that. That excited her to be able to go and, become a singer or at least try out to become a singer. And let's see here. Um, and I apologize for pausing here. But Kandi wanted she actually let me start all over here. She actually um starts out talking about Encore, and she says that Encore traumatized her. And then Kandi wanted to actually go back into Nivea's history, and that's when they begin to talk about how she met her music manager at age 14. So Kandi asked her, well, what were you doing at the age of 14 to meet a music manager? And Kandi is not a journalist, but she can really ask the best questions. I think that her intrigue and her interest in uh, her interviewee causes her to really want to know. I believe she doesn't really interview people she's not interested in. And that is why her questions, the format of her questions, you would really think that she was a journalist, you know? Um, but let me go ahead and just, give her that crown. So anyway, Kandi asked her that question, and she says that her mother had been addicted. She had a drug addiction, and even though her mother had a drug addiction, she was still able to work. Most people with drug addictions they're not able to work, but her mother was. And so they were on a road trip to come south, and they were going somewhere in Georgia, Atlanta, or or Savannah, or one of those. And on the road trip, her eldest sister asked her if she wanted to sing, and she said, I would love to. She was excited about doing that. And so they they tried out, singing, and as it turns out, the producer liked her. Um, he told her, "You got it. You got something." He didn't say that to her other sister, but he said it to her. And I believe that is the moment when he began to plot his manipulation of a young 14 or 15-year-old girl, and he's a 40-year-old man. And you guys, this was just a couple of decades ago, which to me at that time, I mean, what does a 40-year-old man see in a young 15-year-old girl? That just blows my mind that you would even think of a young girl in that way and not know or have any regard for what you're about to do to her life. So, at any rate, she says that they ended up in Atlanta. Her mother's friend is the person that they moved in with in South Atlanta. And she says that after her manager told her that, she got it, then, they were well on their way. They began a relationship. And even though she said he was really shisty, they moved on into a relationship. And um, they actually, it was just her and her manager. And her mother allowed her to travel with this grown man. And they began a relationship, a 40-year-old man with a 15-year-old young girl. You guys, imagine that. Imagine your 15-year-old daughter living with a 40-year-old man. Oh no, that would not happen for me. Let me be real clear about that. Okay? I'm like mad just thinking about that this happened to her. And it would explain a lot of the way she thinks. She had to grow up really fast. She said at that time, and I don't know these names either, but she said she was able to be in the company of people like Rico Wade, Big Ruth, Marquez, and Sleepy. Now listen, I'm someone doing this commentary, and I'm used to. No, she's talking about Rico Wade, Big Ruth, Marquez, and Sleepy, whom I've never heard of. However, I've heard of the Commodores, the Four Tops, the Isley Brothers, the OJs, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Shaka Khan, Anita Baker, Gladys Knight and the Pips. I'm going, and who did the Computer Love song? I can't remember. That was the 80s when I was in college. So I remember those people, okay? Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson. I mean, and so now we have these people, Big Ruth, Sleepy. It's like, okay. Um, at any rate, she also goes on to say that her mother was a working addict. However, she was functional. She always worked. Even though her mother was a working addict, they still ended up homeless when she was between the ages of 10 years old and 14 years old. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. That is a long time. That's 4 years. That is 4 years of homelessness. And so when she became 14 and they were finally on their own and in a home, she was really excited about that. And um but then this is also the same time she became involved with her manager, so she didn't really get to enjoy a lot of the home because she left home at 16. She told her mother, "I'm going out here to do this music thing, I'm out of here." And she also says that later on in her life, she came back to her mother and asked her mother why she didn't do more to stop that process for her. And her mother assumed that because she was book smart, because she did graduate high school, her mother assumed that because she was book smart, that she was smart about everything else. And she said that was just to her an ignorant way of thinking. And she used the phrase, we have a lot of ignorant ways about our culture. You guys, please stop putting your ignorance and the ignorance of your family off on Black culture. Black culture is not ignorant. Stop putting that off on us. Um, we have enough negative adjectives attached to our culture, and we are not ignorant. There are a lot of us who are not ignorant, and the ignorance has only um, escalated over the past couple of decades. Like, really, kind of like the millennials brought it in, quite frankly. As much good as they have brought in, they have brought in other things as well, and it's not their fault. It is, it's just where everything fell. You know, um, you had a lot of people. I had never even heard of crack. Uh, when did I first hear of crack? Probably when I moved to Atlanta. you know, Never even heard of that. And then you have people giving terms to young babies that are being born addicted. And so that's a lot. That's a lot for a people to have to endure. At some point you have to realize it's a lot and repent of it. You have to not do it anymore. And when you see others in the culture doing it, at least bring it to their attention. No one's trying to tell anyone how to live their life. At the same time, you have to stop beating a dead horse. You have to stop saying, "Oh, we need to do this or we need to do that," and you continue to do it. So I digress on that. I just want people to stop placing that term ignorance on Black culture, because Black culture is not ignorant. That happened to you, and that's unfortunate, but the rest of us out here are not ignorant about that fact. Um, she also said that after she moved out, you know, her and her manager, they had an apartment together, they were intimate, and I mean, she just had a lot going on. She said that he made sure that she went to school, and but then when she left her manager, she turned 17 and she began dating a 21-year-old. For 3 years she dated this 21-year-old, and that's a person who you would not normally think that the age distance is a lot between 17 and 21 because you're about to turn 18, but that's still another grown man, and you wonder what is he seeing in someone of high school age? Because 17 is still high school age. Why at 21 as a man you cannot find a young woman closer to your age? It's just mind-boggling to me. And this man should have literally been arrested. He should have been arrested. Her mother knew that she had moved in. She should have, I think at one point she did call the police or something. I don't know how that happened, because this is the part that I really wanted to talk about with regards to Nivea. Um, just the part where the pedophile was involved, where he did these things to her and living with her. I wanna pause here because I'm going to go ahead and transition into my next story, which is the Britney Spears story, and I also wanna talk about the pandemic with you guys, and also some Real Housewives tea, and if you have anything you wanna talk to, get down in the chats and do it. But I wanna pause here and say something, and I don't think Google is going to like this, but you guys know Google owns YouTube. And I dare say Google is probably in here in this room now. They are really following me. They're even meddling in the way that I do my searches online because I have gone to the Department of Justice about them and some things that they were doing even before I got my YouTube channel. Okay. So, um, and I'm concerned about that. So I want you all to be careful because you have some YouTubers who can go on here and you can purchase these Google ads, right? I wanted to purchase a few of them, but I wanted to do them up to a certain point. When that point ended, Google continued to bill me. They had no way out for me. And I didn't want them to continue to do that. I had other marketing strategies. I had a certain point I wanted to go to and let that be it. And as a result, we're kind of in a small battle and I'm upset about it, okay, because they're the big dogs, okay, trying to do things to me. And it has affected it's affected my channel. Because of course if you want to partner with someone, you can't be taking them to court, right? But at the same time, this channel is open to everyone. It's open to the public, and they should be fair about the way they treat each individual here. And so I digress on that, and I will continue my fight externally with them. Um, I also have a fight with employers. I'm just fighting with everybody, you know. And I'm going to talk about the employers part. I want to do that this weekend because there are things that you who work from home need to know that your employer has access to. And I have learned those things, and I want to share those things with you either this weekend or Monday. And I also have a another piece that I want to bring to you, and it showcases some of the things here on YouTube. And so, I may be doing that actually today at 2 or 3. I'm not sure. I may be doing it actually maybe closer to 5 or 6 actually, Eastern Time. So I wanted to just share that with you, and I'll move on. And this is, Saturday morning coffee, so we can talk about anything here. I'm going to pause just a bit here because I'm trying to see something. Just bear with me, guys. So I'm going to move forward and we're going to talk about Britney Spears. I was trying to get a photo in here and I was not able to do that. I wanted to get a photo of Britney in here. Let's see. So I got this update on Britney Spears. It is an article in the New York Times, and the name of the article is Testing Britney Spears, Restoring Restoring the Rights Can Be uh, Real Difficult. Okay, and that's the name of the article, and it's by it's by a journalist named Jan Hoffman, and the article is dated July 23rd, 2021. So I'm going to read to you verbatim what it says here. This is a part of it. It has the main title of the article, which I just gave you. Then it has kind of a different segment within the article that says, "Isn't Miss Spears' artistic and financial success proof that she is self-sufficient?" And it says yes and no. Because let me back up a little bit. The New York Times is saying in order for Britney to get out of the conservatorship, Britney will likely have to undergo a psychiatric evaluation, an uneasy melding of legal standards and mental health criteria. And as you know, Britney asked the judge for her not to have to go through a psychiatric evaluation. Her main focus is really getting her conservatorship out of the hands of Jamie Spears. And remember, I told you guys that in my last video, or a couple of them, like 1 or 2 videos ago, I told you that I remember reading, and this was not too long ago, where Britney was worth more than $200 million, period. I mean, in those shows that she did in Vegas alone, I think one year she got $100 million. So when the newspapers and the media began to publish that she is worth $60 million. I was like, "Are you kidding me? That is laughable for someone of her status and who has done as much work as she has done." And especially, and I hate to throw the race in here, but Caucasian women of Britney's status in the entertainment industry tend to be worth a lot more than $60 million. That's chump change to her. From what I understand, she hasn't been able to use anything more than about $1,500 per week. She is definitely capable of handling more than $1,500 per week. I'm just like, where did where did all of that money go to? I think a lot of people have their hands in her conservatorship. And when you have a lot of people who are getting paid off of this one person, this is why it's taking the courts this long to help her. It's taken them this long because they're all about the money. Money is the root of all evil. It really is. So there's some evil going on behind the scenes. If money is the root of all evil, for the love of money is the root of all evil, excuse me. So you have these people who are doing all this is the evil that's coming out from behind the scenes. What we see happening to Brittany is the evil that is happening to her. It's in the works. It's the people who really are not about her. They don't care about this young woman. If she was a waitress in a shop somewhere, they would care less. They care about her because of the money that she is making for them. And that's why she quit Vegas. If she's not going to have access to her own money, she's going to quit. So it says here, this is proof that, in fact, they're saying she was worth 350 million. So recall the video I made a couple of videos ago, and so this says, and this is in brokeist.com, BROKEIST.com. Britney Spears has been in the news quite a bit in these days. It's not about her music or outfit choices. It's about the pop star's struggles to escape a 12-year conservatorship that controls her finances and personal decisions. The Free Britney movement aims to raise awareness of the pop star's lack of rights over her own fortune. One point of contention has been Britney Spears' net worth. The star has amassed a fortune of over $350 million throughout her 22-year career. Yet court documents show Britney Spears' net worth of $59 million. There's no explanation for the comparatively lower net worth, especially taking into account her various income streams. Britney earned over $100 million from her 4-year Vegas residency alone. So the 2019 conservatorship document filings have left fans baffled about the discrepancy in her net worth. Now, you guys, where did that money go to? Where did it go to? The judge is now putting more strenuous things. And listen, you guys, don't think you can't pay off a judge. Okay, do not for once. I know that we highly esteem judges and we should. We respect them. They are dignified characters in this life, but not all. Don't think you cannot pay off a judge. And if you got $350 million, you can pay off a judge. You're over the conservatorship, you can pay off somebody, okay? You can partner with people within your realms and get it done. Don't think it's hard at all, okay? I want to read this because in deciding her capacity, in deciding her psychiatric evaluation, what they're doing is trying to decide her capacity to handle her financial business, right? So this article in the New York Times, it asks, isn't Miss Spears' artistic and financial success proof she is self-sufficient? And the article reads, yes and no. A judge looks for what in law is called capacity. The term generally refers to benchmarks in a person's functional and cognitive ability, as well as their vulnerability to harm or coercion. Under California law, which governs Ms. Spears' case, a person deemed to have capacity can articulate risk and benefits in making decisions about medical care, wills, marriage, and contracts, such as hiring a lawyer, and can feed, clothe, and shelter themselves. So it goes on to say that Annette Swain, a Los Angeles psychologist who does neuropsychological assessments, said that because someone doesn't always show good judgment, it doesn't mean they lack capacity. We all can make bad decisions at many points in our lives, she said, but that doesn't mean that we should have our rights taken away. And that is exactly what I believe as well. Because, you know, as it says in Brokeist, it says, while we have all made financial mistakes in our 20s, Brittany has a team of professionals looking after her money. So why did Britney Spears' $350 million fortune drop to just $59 million? So what do you guys think about that? Let me know. You can comment on it in the chat. And let me pause here and ask you to also give me if you want, you can give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and click the notifications bell. The notifications bell alerts you to my videos whenever they come up, and you'll be able to come over here and do the live with me, and I can even bring you on. If I had enough people who were showing up here with their faces, then I would go ahead and offer to bring you on. I don't want to have people coming on with just their letter. If your name is, for example, Black Tornado, and you just have a B there by your name. So, um, what is next? I want to talk about the pandemic. And you guys seek medical advice about this, period. I just saw something that talked about the pandemic, and it talks about the symptoms. So I just want to remind you, because they are saying that this Delta variant out there is very powerful. Dr. Fauci on CNN has said it is 1,000 times more powerful and severe than the first pandemic of the COVID-19. Um, they're saying the symptoms may appear 2 to 14 days after exposure to the virus. Remember last year when COVID first came out, they said it could appear 7 days. So now it has increased between 2 to 14 days. So if it's more severe, why does it take it longer to show up? I'm getting a little concerned about some of the information out there that doesn't make sense to me. So if someone has an idea about how to make it make sense, please make it make sense. It says people with these symptoms may have COVID-19. It says fever or chills, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea or vomiting, diarrhea. When you look at those symptoms even before the pandemic could have been any number of things. I'm just saying, and I believe them. I'm not saying I don't believe in the pandemic and that I do not believe that you should be vaccinated. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that some of the information, when I try to make it make sense, it I'm just trying to make it make sense, but I cannot ignore the numbers, especially here in North Carolina. Even with this summer, they're saying that thousands of people have exited this life due to the Delta variant. Thousands of people. And it started happening early on, and I believe that people didn't catch on to it, or the media didn't catch on to it, because it wasn't enough in numbers, and people weren't sure if it was from the, you know, first COVID-19 or something else. It says to look for emergency warning signs for COVID-19. So these are the signs that are an emergency, and you should probably call ER or have someone to get you to the ER. And you all, before I go over these, you need to know there are some emergency rooms in the areas in the United States who do not treat COVID patients. They do not treat COVID patients, so everyone needs to know which hospital in your area actually treats COVID patients so that you will know to go to that hospital if this happens to you, or if something else happens to you. For example, you're pregnant and about to give birth, you may want to go to a hospital that does not treat COVID patients. So make sure that you get that information down. Um, but the emergency warning signs are if you have trouble breathing, well, that's an emergency sign regardless. The other one is persistent pain or pressure in the chest. If you have a new confusion, and I don't know what they mean, a new confusion. What does that mean? Is that, I guess, if you're not operating under normalcy for whatever is normal for you. Your inability to wake or stay awake, yeah, that could be a huge issue, because a lot of times when you think that you're sleepy and you're wanting to fall asleep, you just think that you're sleepy and wanting to fall asleep. You don't know that it's an issue. So pay attention to that. Also, and this is all depending on your skin tone, right? If you become pale, gray, or blue colored skin, lips, or nail beds. And again, that all depends on your skin tone. So I just wanted to put that out there as a reminder to those that this this pandemic is very serious. You should be wearing your mask on the inside even if you are vaccinated. And if you are not vaccinated, you definitely need to be wearing your mask. I went to a restaurant, and we were looking for seating, but we were looking around. We were the only ones who had on masks, and no one else in the restaurant had on masks, not even the other two black people sitting over in the corner. And I was like, I am not going in here at all. This is like a COVID outbreak waiting to happen. No one, not even the bartender. You can see the staff walking around serving people. No one had on a mask. And I was like, "Okay, I'm out." Because, when you go in a restaurant, you can take your mask off to eat in your section wherever they seat you. And I was sitting there thinking, soon as I take my mask off and all of this that's in the air, I'm real OCD, guys. I'm bad OCD, real bad OCD. So the other thing I wanted to share with you is, Kyle has a movie. I shared this with you last week as well. She has a movie coming out. It's called Real Housewives of the North Pole. And evidently, it is taking place in Utah. And Cynthia Bailey may be one of the cast in that movie. So be sure to, you know, check that out. It's not going to be airing until I think around December. So I guess we will know more. I think they are filming right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because there's really not enough people here for me to stay. At least not enough people in the chat or enough people who seem interested. I may have to revamp this YouTube channel or move on and do something on a podcast. I may start a podcast and do some things because this is just not turning out at all, and it doesn't make sense to continue to show up when the numbers are not there and when people are not even commenting on what you say. So, um, at any rate, again, if you would like, you can go ahead and give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and click the notification bell. And I will see you in the next one. And as I like to say whenever I leave here, many blessings to you. Remember, read your Bible, pray. We're in a different world now. I will be back on here to talk about employment in a different on a different day. And I want to talk about this thing about YouTube because there are some YouTubers out there who are that I just want to give homage to. Oh, and you know what? One more thing before I go. I was going to talk about the Tasha K and Cardi B. My only thing that I was going to say was if I had enough people here, I wanted to have a conversation about that case and what you all think is going to happen because it appears that Tasha K has not been, I go over there and I check out her channel a lot, and she has not been on YouTube. She's been doing a lot of reruns. And I think that's probably, if I was her, I'd be on vacation somewhere trying to figure some things out and to come up with some ideas. I just really believe that she had attorneys who were not as invested in the issue as she was. That is what I think. And sometimes that happens with attorneys, and attorneys are people too. They have attitudes. They, do all of these things, to people. And really don't even see why she should not have won at least half of that 3 million, because most of that I'm sure could have been easily proven about Cardi. And so I just, I don't know. Or, maybe it could have been Tasha K. Maybe she was not um, being smart herself about the trial. At any rate, it is going to determine how vloggers and bloggers and even the media moves forward with handling um, um, what is information about people in the entertainment industry. I will digress on that and just go back to saying many blessings to you. And I just, like I said, remember to read your Bible, pray, and we didn't get here by ourselves, you guys. God created us, so we should be praying and reading our Bibles, because when you leave this earth, you leave with nothing. Nothing here belongs to you. You leave with nothing. So in reality, everything is borrowed and rented, and we just have to make the best of it through our credit process, right? So, but anyway, good night. I'm sorry, good evening. Have a good day, and hopefully I'll see you again before the end of the day to talk about my information that I wanted to share with you. Many blessings. Bye bye.